If you're going to marry a man with kids and you want to make it work, you're going to need to be ready to learn to have your plan set out for yourself in order to do the homework.
Hey mamas, welcome back to The Whole Mama Show. I'm your host, Aisha O'Reilly, and we're revealing the untold stories of motherhood. I know that a lot of us, when we think about becoming mothers, we think about having our first children with our husbands or the partner that we end up in life. But what if you meet the love of your life and you already have children? So this episode is chatting about that, what society is currently calling blended families. So before we get into the episode, I just wanted to quickly share with you the next chapter of The Whole Mama. A lot of you don't know this, but when I originally thought of the podcast, I thought of having these conversations in person with you. And now is the time to do that. So please join me in person as we have honest conversations about motherhood, about being modern moms. Let's learn together. Let's chat together. Let's be honest with each other. Let's have conversations that are going to uplift our minds, bodies, and souls. I can't wait to see you. Please go ahead on any of my social media platforms to find out all of the details, and I will see you soon. My guest today is sharing her double motherhood journey, from being a stepmom to being a biological mom as well. You're not the only step mama. I'd love for you to join my mama village by subscribing to my channel and follow me on my social media platforms. And if you're listening to this on an audio podcast, please make sure you leave me a rating out of 5 and a quick one-liner review on any of the episodes. Elana Afrika-Bredenkamp is a very well-known radio broadcaster, presenter, host, MC, businesswoman, entrepreneur, wife, and mother. This is her story. Hi, Elana.
Hey, hi.
Thanks so much for joining me on The Whole Mama Couch. In case anybody who has been living under a rock doesn't know you, can you please share who you are, what you do, and who calls you Mama?
So people think they know me. I have been a public figure. I don't really like that word, but it's true.
Yeah.
For 22 years. And I think we evolve and become different things. So right now,
Yes.
I am Esther and Annabelle's mom. I am Layla and Adam's stepmom. Stepmom is not a bad word. We don't have another name for it in our family. I am a businesswoman. I never wanted to say it, but I have to take credit for what I do. I'm a podcast host and founder of Baby Brunch. Check us out on babybrunch.co.za. And then I think the part of my work that I enjoy the most is I'm a broadcaster for Jacaranda FM, but I'm a show host. So I host conversations, and it is the biggest part of my business.
For me, you're the multi-hyphenate. I love that you did start off with mom.
Being a mom is the one thing in life that I really wanted to be.
Yeah.
It's really my highest achievement. So it's not very difficult for me to be a mother because I'm genuinely living my passion and vicariously through my children. I really enjoy and have the most fun when I'm with my girls. And it is my mission in life to remind people that they're on earth for a reason. And that's why I love the notion of life so much. I love life. I love children. Chances of your kids are misbehaving. I'm going to take their side.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you guys, so the problem, you know? I love being a mother very much. And that's, it's the reason I exist, to tell people how important your life is and how important life is.
Can you take us through, how did you become a mom? Because you're a mom, a bonus mom, I think, is what they call it sometimes as well. You're a bonus mom, a stepmom, but you're also a biological mom. So you've got 2 motherhood journeys. Can you take us through the first one and then the second?
Being a stepmom and being a biological mom is one thing.
Okay.
Because it's all part of Elana and it's all part of mentorship and mothering. I remember when I got my kids for the first time, they were 5 and 7.
Yeah.
And I don't use terms like bonus mom and plus mom and gold mom and granny mom and glam mommy. And I don't know. I'm a stepmom. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's self-explanatory. It tells the world what I am. And my kids don't look like me. So they either call me mom or they call me Elana. And I look like none of them. They act like their dads, you know. I remember getting my kids for the first time. And I fell in love with my husband because I saw how gracious and kind he is to kids. I also fell in love with my husband first because I realized how kind and how good his mother is. My mother-in-law is my best friend. And if you have an opportunity before kids to get to know your husband's attachments before getting to know your husband, I think you're halfway there, hey? I love my stepkids. I love my mother-in-law. I love my parents. Thank God I still have all of them in my life. But when I saw how kind and how good my husband is, he's a very, very good father, how good he is to his children, I knew that I would have enough tips here from this guy to be a really good mom. And I knew that he would be a good father to the children that we would have. We were quite clear from the beginning. And it's interesting, I've never told anyone this story. In any relationship, you have to have your husband as your teammate.
Yes. Yeah.
He has to be on your side, on board. And I remember the communication was like this. My husband's ex-wife is still alive and she's still in my children's life. So it's not like, blended family doesn't mean we all have to go on holiday together. All it means is that there needs to be clear forms of communication. My husband and ex, they communicate. And before there's any decision that's made around my kids, because all of them are my children, my husband and I speak. Because we are the team. And once my husband and I spoke, then there's a decision to be made. And that has worked for us.
Yeah.
The other day, my baby graduated high school and she went to first year varsity. I felt so proud. I was so happy. As a stepmom, I felt like, I achieved something. I'm there for the whole journey, Having my own kids with my husband was also unique and really beautiful. Do you know that it was easier having stepkids than having my own kids?
Really?
Yes. Because I remember getting married and wanting these babies so much. And, now we're like, are we ready? We're going to try for baby number 1. I didn't even know I was pregnant for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Until I was like, wait a minute, I think I'm picking up weight and maybe I should go and check. And when I did a test, I was already 9 weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
And I was really tiny and skinny at the time. I didn't even notice that my boobs were growing. And only then I was like, oh, wait a minute, my one boob is bigger and my tummy's actually growing. So I should have known. But no clue, wanting to have this family. And at the time, my other babies were already, I think Lady was already 8 and Adam was 6. They were already in school and I had no clue. I could pack lunches.
Yeah.
I knew how to work with a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
But I had no clue of how to recognize pregnancy because I was my first one.
Yeah. I think a lot of moms can relate to that.
I hope so, because you know what? You don't want to feel like you're alone.
No.
In any of that.
Yeah.
I love being pregnant.
Yeah.
Love being pregnant. The thing that brought my husband and I the closest during pregnancy was hemorrhoids. It was the first time that I leaned over and I was like, you're going to need to put the cream on. And I'll never forget, we were on our way to one of our baby showers because we live in 2 cities. So we live in Joburg and in Cape Town. And I was on my way to my Cape Town baby shower and I said to him, I can't get up. It's just too sore. And he says, I'll put the cream on. Where must I put it on?
No, man.
I'm not kidding. And I said to him, and I was already wearing my dress. And I had this beautiful dress on. It was an orange dress with only the cup size closed and it was open shouldered.
Yeah.
It was warm.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I can't get up. And I was on all fours on the bed and I said to him, you need to massage, just do anything.
How many months were you by then?
I was only 6 months.
Wow. So the first one.
Yes, and I already suffered of hemorrhoids. Yeah. And I said to him, you need to massage. And my poor husband, God bless him, he was like, I'm getting in there. And he put some cream in his hand and he was massaging my bums. He was getting in there and he was massaging my bum. It was so good. If I think about it now, there was nothing sexual about it. It was just so good. It relieved my soul. He was in there, he massaged, and I was like, this is the closest that we've ever been. It wasn't even perineum stuff, okay? It was like...
It was just comfort.
Comfort. I've got your back.
Support.
He literally had me in his hands and I felt relief happy. I went out. And thank God we're still married and happy and close. Because he has seen a side of me that I've never seen.
But I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because, I'm laughing about it. I didn't go that hectic with my husband. Why?
Is that hectic about it, Asha? Listen.
I think a lot of women will be like, whoa. Okay.
No, it is, you know what?
But it's very human of you.
It's human, but here's the thing. I don't need a man in my life for anything.
Yeah.
I make my own money. I'm independent. I own stuff. I've got my parents. Oh, I love them. So if you think of the notion of man, I don't need a man.
Yeah.
I need my husband.
Yeah.
I need him. I love him. I love him for so many other things that a man can't necessarily give me.
Yeah.
It's only my husband that can give it to me.
Yeah.
My closest bonding moment with my husband is when he gave me stuff that I can't get from other people that makes me love him more. And he happened to massage my bum during pregnancy, and that brought us the closest. Because I don't need $1 million for a house or stuff.
Yeah.
I just need my husband. I just need his love and his hands. He's got beautiful hands. I just need his, he really does. He's got amazing hands. I just need my husband, his hands, his support, and him to say yes and to tell me that he loves me. That's all I want.
That right there, the whole hemorrhoids thing, I have to say that's love. That's love. Because let me be, honestly, and it's not necessarily with my experience, but it's like, I speak to so many women online, in person, about motherhood, about birth, and men are so removed from the whole process.
I don't know why, honestly.
They're really removed from it.
Is it because we're not telling them how much we need? Is it because they have mothers that are not helping them along?
Yes.
Is it because we have to start asking why?
I think it's everything that you said, but I think it's society at large. It's society very much putting men in that place of like, men are the providers, men are the protectors, they're not the nurturers, they're not this. And so they've kind of like really, society has kind of really boxed men in this kind of category and then women in this kind of category.
So then we need to make more podcasts and videos like this.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, and I'm sorry to say this now, but we need to teach our daughters who to marry and who to latch onto.
Yes.
I cannot imagine my daughter being surrounded by a man that's influenced by society only and that doesn't get involved and that doesn't want to do things that other people don't do.
I mean, there are men who they still this day, they don't go to wherever their wives, their partners are giving birth. They don't go there. When she's giving birth, they're not in the clinic, they're not in the hospital. They're out having drinks with their friends. It's a completely different experience for them.
I feel like I need to say this then. When you have a husband like that and you really love him, it is okay because you love him and you've chosen him, and that is how we were raised. Right?
Yes.
That is how we were raised.
Yeah.
What then is important is what do I need to support me? And then you can rely on the things that you need support. Find it from other women in your community.
Yes.
So don't feel like you've got the wrong guy. Remember, we are all influenced by different things. We are influenced by society and religion and upbringing and culture and different countries and I don't know what else, different parents, the way. If you feel that you are in a space of not being grateful for the man that you married, it's not wrong. It just means we're going to need to fill in the spaces to make your gratitude feel a little bit more whole.
And with other people who can provide that for you.
For you.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need to say that because we must never, remember, I will say this again, and I say it many times in many interviews, gratitude will sometimes appear as privilege. So if I tell you that I'm really grateful because I met this amazing man, it might seem like you don't have an amazing man because we compare it, right? So we must never feel like that. We must always feel, oh, okay, Elana's teaching me something about how she loves her husband.
Yeah.
So I also want to love my husband that way, but then I'm going to love him with the mistakes that I chose him with. And where he can't help me, I'm going to fill it in with lady support. Build your village. We're saying maybe there's a doula or a coach. Maybe there's a support group that's free of charge. There's many of those, Asha's got a subscription-free platform. We at Baby Brunch have got subscription-free advice. So rope all of those people in your community so that you can find that kind of support, so that you can fill your gratitude circle, right, with the right kind of support. so that you can also enjoy this husband that's still on his learning journey.
What I'm really enjoying hearing from you, you sort of like get into this, I don't know, relaxed, almost soft note when you talk about your husband. How did you guys meet? Because that's something that I actually don't know about you. And going back to the stepmom, I'm going to call you the stepmom, but
Thank you.
you own that title. Let's be real, it's been given a bit of a negative connotation throughout the years with media and everything. But, you know, how did you meet Ian? And then how were you introduced to your first kids?
That's interesting that you asked that. I'll tell you how I met my husband.
Yes.
Ian and I actually studied together.
Really?
Many years ago.
Whereabouts?
Stellenbosch University. I was third year, and he had gone on a gap year because his family is also from America, and he had spent some time there. So by the time I was third year, he came in as a first year.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't like him at the time.
Yeah.
He had a ponytail. He had lots of friends. He had a beautiful girlfriend at the time. And I remember seeing him there, but it wasn't like we were friends or anything. We all went on and we all lived our own lives. He got married. I had a very serious relationship. I moved to Gauteng. I started my career here as a broadcaster. Ian and I stayed in contact because of radio.
Okay.
Broadcasting was the reason why we still stayed in contact.
Yeah.
And I remember there were times that I would be in either city and I would need a producer to speak down the line. We call it down the line. So depending, if I'm in Cape Town, I need a producer to connect me to Joburg. And he was always the guy on the shift. So I've always had that relationship with him, knowing that, he's in broadcasting and so am I. But at the time, he worked for me. And I was the star. You know, years later, fast forward, I got an opportunity to go back to Cape Town, and I got invited by one of the radio stations to go back to Cape Town. And here I see the guy that I used to talk down the line, who used to be so boisterous at school. I see him, his hair is cut and he's wearing a blue shirt. And I must tell you, it was instant. I looked at him and I was like, I can't believe you cleaned it this well. I could see that he is established in his skin and he looked really nice. And the reason why I have such compassion for my husband and why I always feel like I want to whisper when I speak about him is because he's a very caring man. I got a really special guy. And I thank God every day that it's him, because both of us were in other relationships before we met each other. How to introduce kids to stepmom? It can be very easy.
Well, how did it happen for you guys?
We read a book.
Okay.
If there's an actual book that says how to introduce your children to their stepmom or something like that, we practiced the book. I remember it said something like, invite your children to a picnic and have your girlfriend present at the picnic.
Okay.
And we did that.
Yeah.
We had a picnic and the kids came to the picnic and I saw the kids at the picnic and it was only myself and my husband and the kids.
Did they know that you were the girlfriend?
No.
Not yet.
No, I'm daddy's friend.
Yes.
Yes. What was important for us when we met was that we were sure we wanted to get married. I don't believe in meeting children if you are just going to be the girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah.
You have to be serious. Where's the plan?
Yeah.
So it was important for me that I knew that my husband and I were going to get married. So we were dating for a while before we introduced kids to stepmom as the girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd already met my mother-in-law at the time, knowing that we get along and that we love each other. My dad adores Ian. At that time, I'll never forget, took me out for an ice cream. And that was the date where we decided that we were going to get serious about things. And even at that time, I did not meet the kids as daddy's girlfriend.
Okay.
Because it was important for us that we have relationship between mom and dad, and us solid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm not in the game for confusion. And I must say, I don't judge often. I do judge when I'm introduced to a boyfriend or a girlfriend and there's kids involved and they're already blending, but they don't have a plan about what's going to happen next. It must be very confusing for those little ones. And we followed the book.
Yeah.
And in chapter wherever it said something about a picnic where you invite your girlfriend to. And at the time, I already knew who they were, and they have seen me at Omar's house, maybe in the bar as a friend.
Yeah.
But, no sleepovers.
Yeah.
In fact, my husband and I, we lived in our own homes until the day we got married.
Yeah.
We never lived together. So I was invited to this picnic, and the kids were playing, and it was a short picnic. And the next time, the book said something about have an intimate braai where, there's more people. So the kids got to see me more at these occasions that we created, especially for them.
Yes.
In order to get used to the notion of Daddy and Elana are together, as a unit. one of my most beautiful moments with all my kids is the day that we told them that we're not going to get married. And again, they were the last to know.
Okay.
Because by then, we discussed it with everybody.
Yeah.
We made sure what's the best way to tell the kids. We followed our plan. I said to the babies, I'm going to shop clothes for you. And they were more excited about the clothes. They couldn't be bothered whether we get married or not. It was actually such a non-event because they were already so happy and settled about this notion and how we introduced stepmom to them initially. We made it very easy for them. It was conflict-free. It was calm. And all the role players knew before we introduced it to the kids.
Yes.
I believe the kids mustn't be the first to know.
Yeah.
If you're going to move or change schools or, God forbid, there's a divorce, I don't think the kids are the first. The kids shouldn't be the first to know. It has to be discussed by the adults first. So that's how I did it with my stepkids and Ian and I. Team is important. My mother and father and my in-laws, when Ian and I are not around, they have coffee. They hang out. And so we kind of a lot in each other's business. So that when something is said about the kids, everyone knows first before the kids know about it. So I do think, yes, it takes a village, but it does take a family that gets along as well in order to raise a blended family. And that's why for us, it's not blended. It's just family.
Yeah.
You know, when my kids come home, my kids come home. We have 2 homes, one in Cape Town and one in Joburg. Thank God, through grace, we've built this environment for them. But they have a room in each city, you know. They must never feel, but you didn't accommodate us, or there's no pictures of us on the walls, or my son is vegetarian. When he comes home, there's veggies for him. There's food to make him feel like he belongs. And so if you're going to marry a man with kids and you want to make it work, you're going to need to be ready to learn, to have your plan set out for yourself in order to do the homework. You will not believe how in life a blended family can serve you as much as you serve them. But I've learned so much through my stepkids, and I've learned so much through my own kids because I've allowed them in my life that I could set up things for them. And I knew actually that there would be a time that they would look out for me. And I'm at that point now. I'll never forget when my son turned 16, there's a picture of me jumping on his back and him carrying me. And I said to him, look, boy, there was a time that I carried you in the shop. We were like this. And now it's your turn.
Yeah.
And it was metaphorical as well because my kids have got my back and I've got theirs.
Yeah. Yeah. You followed the book. This book of how to introduce your kids to the stepmom or the girlfriend.
The girlfriend. I was hard to get. I was the hottest girl.
So you went from being Elana the friend who comes with us on picnics, but was there a point in the meantime where your husband did say, okay, so this is Elana, she's my girlfriend, like actually giving you that title, or did you go from friend to fiance?
I think we overthink a lot of things, that it has to be this event or announcement, or we have to name it, or, you know, it needs to be this thing because it was so accepted.
Yes.
I don't remember my transition from girlfriend to fiance to mom.
Okay.
But I tell you what I do remember. I remember my role in it. I remember ways of how I served them. I remember getting to know my kids' favorite dishes, for instance. I remember how I started shopping for Layla. I remember ordering things online for her and then arriving at the house and me going, I went shopping for you, and come and see the packets. You know, the packets arrived. That was our bonding thing. Now, I think she understood that she must be someone really important if she is buying me things that I really like, you know, and Daddy would only allow that someone who cares for me buys me things. I think our actions sometimes speaks louder than words. When it comes to blended families, we need to do what we think would serve other people in order to make the process easier. You know, we don't have to announce everything.
Yeah.
Why don't you just do what a girlfriend or a wife would do in your mind?
I'm not necessarily speaking from experience because I've never been part of what they call a blended family.
Yeah.
But so my knowledge of it is very much limited to what I see on screen, you know, or when I hear from friends who have been part of, whether they grew up with a stepmom or stepdad, or now are currently in relationships with partners who have children with previous relationships. First of all, it is this, okay, a bit of a big announcement or an official announcement.
Right.
It's like, this is my girlfriend. And then there is okay, now new girlfriend, meet my old wife or my old girlfriend, or, so it's always those two things that kind of stand out. So I think what happens is that a lot of people kind of, before they themselves get into that situation, they are basing their knowledge
on what they see.
On what they see. So it's like, I kind of have to not like the ex-wife. It's a given that the ex-wife and the stepmom don't get along. So how did you navigate that? Yeah.
So look, people and society paints the picture that the notion X is bad.
Yes.
The word X is not bad. It just means that you didn't get along. It just means that you couldn't have a relationship, And when I say X, I'm not talking about abuse. I'm not talking about all the other things that allows us to separate amicably because it had to happen, right? You don't have to have a relationship with your husband's ex unless you want to.
Yeah.
I have a relationship with my children's mother.
Yes.
Only because she is still in their lives.
Yeah.
We don't have to be best friends.
Yeah.
But why do we have to be negative? There's no need for us to have a negative relationship. We share so much in common. We like the same children.
Yeah.
And we're raising the same kids.
Yeah.
So we have to get along. So the minute you find yourself resisting to anything in your blended family, ask yourself why. Maybe it's because I need time. Maybe it's because I need a plan. Maybe it's because my husband and I need to grow together a little bit tighter so that it doesn't offend me so much. Maybe I need to grow closer to my children so that whatever input their mother has in their lives doesn't offend me so much. I think we jump to a lot of how we were raised very quickly because that's the only reference we have. It's the only reference we have. And so I think we have to be very gentle with ourselves in any relationship. I don't want to say that I'm lucky because it worked for me. I want to say that I put in the work.
Yes.
And that's why it worked for me.
Yes.
I want to say that it takes a lot to offend me, and that's why it worked for me. I want to say that I don't really care about many opinions around me. I care about my husband and I care for my children, and then whoever feeds into their life positively. That's why the notion of X doesn't upset me so much, because it's just an ex. It's just another relationship that you had. I thank God for my husband's ex because I got kids.
Yeah.
I got kids. And you know what else? Here's what we don't often say. I am glad I didn't marry my husband the first time I met him. He had to marry someone else first so that he could become a better husband for me. Yes. He's a great husband.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people would say that. And he had to have that relationship in order to be ready for you.
I enjoy the fact that I got the better in him.
Yes.
And he got the better Elana.
Yes.
There's some days that are challenging.
Yes.
Like at the moment, I've got teenagers and I've got little ones, So some days are easier than others. You know what was really challenging? When you fall in love and you know that you are entering into a relationship when there's kids already, you start dreaming that it needs to be perfect and that it just has to work out. But in order for it to work, you're going to need to put in the work. When we had everything down, some of the things that would be really hard with blended family was having two houses.
Yes.
Because when they're at mom's house, the school jersey's there.
Right.
When they're at my house, these rules apply and the jersey's here. And you know what? When you speak to a blended family or a family where there's a stepmom and two houses away, everyone has the same problem. Yeah. But no one has written the manual yet of going how to manage and how to juggle it.
Yeah.
And then eventually we bought two sets. Did it solve the problem? No. Because the problem only really gets solved the day the kids leave primary school and they become a little more grown up and responsible and remember to pack it themselves. So there are those moments of, oh, this is elation, this is amazing, I'm a stepmom, I've got kids, I love children. Then there's the other time of, oh, there's the notion of the jersey and the school blazer and the school shirt that's at mommy's house and now you're at my house.
Yeah.
you're going to have to just label those as the moments that are not nice, and then there's the moments that are nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always a challenge.
Yeah.
Leaving clothes, manners, rules at different houses is the biggest challenge of having blended families. And those are the only times that it's really tough. But then there's other times that are really enjoyable and great. There are those moments that are challenging because it's called a juggle. And it's no different than your own juggle when you have your own kids. And even if you have only got your stepkids and you decide not to have children, your juggle is different because you are different. It's not different because you're a stepmom.
So you come into this relationship, you start building the family. He's already had children from a previous relationship who now become your children. But you decided that you're going to have new children with each other. Can you quickly share how did you go, just the journey to decide, okay, we would want new children in this union now, and how did you
to the babies, to the bigger babies,
to the existing, the bigger.
So this is quite exciting to talk about because initially Ian and I wanted 6 kids.
Okay, in total.
So we wanted a big family.
Yeah.
When we had our older 2, right? So now I'm stepmom and we've got 2 babies, and I was pregnant. Again, it was a wonderful occasion because I've always wanted my kids, thank God for Esther and Annabelle. And I remember we discussed, okay, we're going to have a family, and we were trying for a baby. And the day we were finally finding out that we were pregnant, we decided the plan is we're going to let the grown-ups know first.
Okay.
And then we were going to call a family meeting. And it was actually very sweet. They were 7 and 6 at the time. So we put them down and we said, okay, we're going to have a sibling. Still today, my kids don't say step when we talk. So to us, it's just the kids, you know. And my little ones, to their older brothers and sisters, just says my brother and my sister. So it was actually very easy for us because we don't differentiate, because they're all just siblings, you know. But I remember at the time we said we're going to have a sibling now, and what do you want it to be, you know? And they were like a boy and a girl and this. And this is how I knew that it was actually going to be easier than I thought. Layla, and she doesn't know this, Layla, my girl, she went and she fetched one of her teddy bears and she brought it to us while we were having our family meeting.
Yeah.
And she said, maybe we should give this to the baby. And I thought that was very sweet of her because that was her way to say, I'm accepting.
Yeah.
And then we were expecting repercussions, as you do. You know, both Ian and I, we understand people. We broadcasters. So, you know, there's a lot of psychology that goes into understanding people. And I understand my kids. I thought, I'm waiting for a curveball. I remember thinking, we need to now expect some clinginess from the children. But because we're a blended family and because they still have their mommy in their lives, it was actually very easy for us. I remember building the nursery, we asked for their help. What do you think should go here? And what do you think should go there? And whatever. And you're allowed to go into the nursery. Come see what we've done. You know, it was always very special. Come see what we've done. It's how would you do things with older kids to make them feel that they're not alienated. It is fascinating to see because of how we introduced baby to them. Till this day, I cannot explain to you how beautiful it is. We'll have a picnic, right? And the little ones will be on the jungle gym. And my older kids will be in their jungle gym with the babies, with them big children, all in the jungle gym, because we've never differentiated between step and step.
Yeah.
And we've always made it very conscious that when we introduce children, that everyone's included. When the baby came, everyone got a gift.
Yeah.
You know,
Not just the baby.
Yeah. You know, so it's actually, you know what? If you have a plan, it can be very exciting.
You love plans.
I do. I love, if you have a plan, your life will be interesting. Then there's little room for disruption.
Yeah.
If there is a disruption, and it doesn't throw you that much, but if you don't have a plan, then other people are going to try and tell you how it's going to work. And that's not going to work for me.
I think I can speak for a lot of people. When you think of a plan, you think of work. You think of maybe life in general, but to the point that, you know, you're specifically, even I was talking to some friends about this the other day. There are people out there who get married or agree to get married. They're planning their wedding, but they're not planning the life that they want to live with this person. They don't do family planning. They don't talk about how many children that they want with each other when they want to start trying. That a lot of people do just sort of go with it and think, oh, when the time is right, then I'll know.
How would you know when the time is right?
Well, that's the thing. So I love that you, even with, you know, becoming a stepmom and all of that, like you were very conscious about it. And I think that's really, really like,
if I have a plan, it's easy to make rules. Remember, stepkids are not, it's not a different breed of kids.
Yeah.
It's just children. And so if I have a plan around these are the rules in my house.
Yeah.
This is what we do on Sundays. This is what we do on Friday nights.
Yes.
It's much easier to parent. Because then when the rules are bent, then you can say, oh, see, we had fun on Friday night because we stayed up late. Usually in this house, we go to bed early. So see, you had a fun weekend, right? Because you got to stay up late on Friday. And then it makes them think, oh, you're right. I did have a fun weekend because I got to stay up late, Didn't go to bed like I normally do in the week. A plan is not just for work. If our creator has a plan with us being here and we're creating these babies, we need to have a plan for their lives too.
I love that.
How will we know what they're supposed to do if we're not planning things around it?
Yeah.
A plan can change.
It's not set in stone.
You can adapt it. But where's the plan?
I love that.
What's the plan?
I'd like to know what is your whole mama truth?
Whole mama truth.
Yeah.
My whole mama truth is I can't have my external world shape who I am. I have to remember why I was created, why I was born, why I gave birth. And that way, I can stay true to myself.
Oh, Elana. Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Hi. I'm Elana, the Whole Mama Show.
I think over the years, so many of us have watched Elana in different roles. So sitting next to her today and having this chat about motherhood, it just felt really relatable. And I also learned quite a bit about blended families, which is something that so many of you had actually sent me messages about and DM me about before the start of this new season. I had quite a few conversations with moms in the DMs asking me to do an episode or put together some kind of content about blended families, that they themselves were a part of one or they were about to enter into one, and how to navigate those different relationships. So I hope Elana's story has inspired you, taught you something new, and maybe has encouraged you to look at things in a little bit of a different way. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and follow me on my social media platforms. I love getting messages from all of you and comments. Let me know what you found the most inspiring about Elana's story. I can't believe we are almost at the end of this season. We've got one more episode to go, and I will be back with you next week for the season finale. It's going to be a very deep one, and it is going to be my story. So please go ahead and tune in for that next week, and I will see you then. I'm Aisha Riley, and I hope this episode has left you feeling a little bit more whole, mama.